All right, welcome back to coverage of the Modern Super League. We're getting down the stretch here, and I am joined now by Willie Adel, all the way from Brazil. Welcome, Willie.
Hey, Marshall. Hey, everyone. I'm good here.
It's nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Marshall. I missed you last week.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll bump into each other at some GPs and PTs, but for now, we get to commentate a match together, which is, that's going to be fun. We're going to be watching Luis Scott-Vargas versus Shaun McLaren, and Randy's updating the bracket for us. Once he has that ready, he's gonna show us what things are looking like. Willie, it's been a bit of a bloodbath here in the Modern Super League. You know, today we're losing half the players in the league in one day, and they're dropping like flies. As we saw Reed Duke fall out, and Shaun McLaren now finds himself up against the wall with Luis, and they're going to be fighting it out in front of us to see who gets to stay in the league.
Yeah, like I feel Luis is pretty upset about the matchup. Like he mentioned last week, he was kind of like afraid to play against junk decks, and like he lost one last week, and he beat one kind of junk deck this week, like what the black-white tokens. It's pretty much like a Jones deck without the Abrupt Decay, which is the best card against him. Mm-hmm. Like, unluckily, Shaun has Abrupt Decay. He has like a Master Pulse, I guess, and he has a couple Scavenging uses. So I think in theory, it's a pretty bad matchup for Luis.
Okay. Yeah, now you can see the bracket here. It has Luis versus Shaun, which is what we're going to watch immediately after this. The players are getting set for that, and that means, of course, that the next match is going to be you, Willie Adel, and you're going to be playing against Li Shi Tian in that one. I'm sure you're excited to get a chance to play some Magic here, and it also means, let's see if I do my math here. So you lost to Patrick before, so yeah, that means that that's going to be elimination match for you as well. So these next two are both elimination matches.
Yes, like for my matchup against Lee, I think my deck is like a little weaker than like the traditional Junt against him. I don't have like, for example, Lightning Bolts, and Legendary Souls is not the best card against an Elf deck. But like I have a pretty heavy sideboard against him. I have like a couple donations, like Engineered Explosives. So my dream scenario here is to be on the play on game one, so maybe I can steal a game, and then I think in 2 tries after sideboard I definitely have a good chance, but let's see how it plays.
Yeah, so we'll see how it plays out. Right now they're getting set down in the feature match. I am curious, Willie, just from what have you been up to? You know, there's a little bit of downtime here for you. What have you been up to recently?
I'm, like you said, I'm pretty much on downtime. Like the last season of the Pro Tour just ended, and I didn't play like anything this season yet. So I'm pretty much like enjoying like Brazil, enjoying family. I will travel for Grand Prix Madison in 2 weeks. So it will be like the start of the new season. Then I'll play a lot. Like I'll play Grand Prix Madison, then like the Pro Tour Milwaukee. Then I go back to Brazil, and that's like a local Grand Prix here, Porto Alegre, which is modern. Then 2 weeks later, I fly again to US. So that's Grand Prix Atlanta and Pittsburgh. Then I go back to Brazil for like a week. And since I not qualify for the World Magic Cup, I will just relax to like
you're just gonna
the February tour.
You're gonna stay home and cheer on Brazil from home this time.
Yeah, because like when I was planning the schedule for like the end of this year, I wasn't sure if I was playing or not the World Magic Cup. So I pretty much like left the space, like in case I qualify through the World Magic Cup qualifiers. But turns out I didn't. So I was just cheering Paulo and the guys from home.
Yeah, of course. And that sounds like fun. Either way, of course, I'm sure you'd prefer to be there.
Yeah, I wouldn't complain.
It up. Yeah, but you at least get to root on what looks like a pretty strong team from Brazil. Now, again, we should probably look at the deck list here for the players that we're going to watch coming in, which is, like I said, Shaun McLaren and Luis Scott-Vargas, and maybe get your take on what the matchup looks like from each of them. Yeah, and so why don't we bring up those, and then we'll go over each of the deck lists and get a feel for what they're doing. Start with Luis Scott-Vargas, who's on Ascendancy Combo. Now, you're a known Modern player, Willie. You've played it quite a bit, but this is a deck we don't see too often.
Yeah, curiously, I was kind of used to this deck because in the World Championship 2 years ago was the year that Josh Otterlayton built this deck. I was on the playtest team for the Worlds that year. But at that time, like the deck was a lot stronger. Like we had like Treasure Cruise and Jigtor Time. And like I was playtesting then, of course, I was playing like some sort of junk deck. I was playing Abzan at that time. So I had the opportunity to playtest a lot against this deck. So I'm pretty used to what the deck does. And I'm pretty surprised like the deck still exists, even if it's Luis playing it. Because the deck was like at that time, even with Treasure Cruise and Jigtor Time, the deck like could not beat like Junt at all. And now without these cards, it makes like kind of an uphill battle for him. So I would be pretty surprised like if he can beat Shaun here.
You'll be surprised if he can beat him here. Yeah, you know, I think that these Jund matchups look pretty tough for him. We can take a look at the other deck list here. As we bring that one up. All right, well, it looks like we'll take a quick look at Shaun McLaren's list. It's not quite as spicy as what Luis brought to the table here. It's a pretty classic Jund build, but the players are ready. So let's head down and watch the next round of action here on the Super League.
Let's do it.
All right. So this looks like a pretty good opener for Shaun McLaren, who's really looking just to disrupt what Luis Scott-Vargas is doing and keeping him off balance. He's got Inquisition of Kozilek, Thoughtseize, Maelstrom Pulse.
Yeah, he has something like pretty close to the perfect hand against Luis deck. Like to be perfect, I would just like add like a creature there, either a Tarmogoyf or a Scavenging Ooze. So I think on the early turns, he'll probably set up like whatever he's doing. Like he just disrupt like everything Luis is doing. Like he casts 3 discards for law, every single spell in Luis' hands. And Lightning Bolt doesn't do like much. And even Izzet Charm, like he'll probably jig for 2. So he can disrupt like everything. And even if Luis like draws another, like Jeskai Sentence from the top and through all the discards, Shaun is still have like the Maelstrom Pulse.
Yeah, so not bad. Now, the one thing that we see that Shaun doesn't have here is any pressure, right? He doesn't have a Tarmogoyf or something to start beating down and really make it a clock. So while he's going to be able to rip apart Luis's hand in the early stages, he does still need to find that other ingredient, which is a way to pressure Luis's life total.
Yeah, and as a last resort, he has the Raging Ravine, which is not ideal. But like that will do, like if he can discard like everything Luis does and kill the Jeskai Sentence, like the Raging Ravine will be enough. Like, of course, like any creature, like a Confidence not at all, like because he would likely die to any of the removals. But like a Tarmogoyf or Scavenging Ooze will be the best. Like if the Uzi still dies to any of these creatures, he can get some value, like exiling, for example, a Fate Stitcher, maybe if Luis like managed to discard by any means.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on it and see, keep a close eye on what's going on with Shaun McLaren's draw step. This is going to be important. And like you said, he does have a backup plan for Luis's, if Luis were to draw another copy of Jeskai Ascendancy, he does have that Maelstrom Pulse at the ready as well.
Yeah, I like Shaun's chance a lot here. Like, if I had to choose like a side, I would be definitely staying on Shaun's side, and not because he wasn't Jund, like actually it was because he's in Jund, but like he has a pretty good hand.
Yeah, but Jund has good hands sometimes, right? I mean, that's part of the deal.
Most of the times, like the Shaun has like pretty little like dead draws here. Let's say like the spot removals are not great, but since Luis like relies on a creature to combo off either like Fairy Conclave or the Fate Stitcher, the removes are not that dead at all. So Jund matched really well against this deck.
Okay. All right, well, Luis has lost his Jeskai Ascendancy to the Inquisition of Kozilek, but he's kind of working his way back up. He found a Serum Visions. He's got a Path to Exile, an Izzet Charm, and a Lightning Bolt in hand. He's not going to have those for long.
Yeah, Shaun would take out like everything. Like
he can take out everything, but he still doesn't have a beater yet. So Luis, at least as the game sits right now, is going to get a little bit of time. And most of the cards in Luis's deck are some type of cantrip. I mean, he can use cards like Izzet Charm to dig deeper. He can use Serum Visions, and he can just kind of keep going further and further through his deck to find it. And if Shaun can't pressure him, it doesn't really work out for Shaun. There's Liliana of the Veil.
Yeah, Liliana is likely one of the best cards here because he just keep thinking up and make sure Luis is locked out of the game as soon as his ultimates. But I think Shaun will you discard one more time just to make sure he didn't draw anything, or he can just slam Liliana. He thought it's the last turn and he only saw removal, but I think he was just wanna play safe here.
All right, yeah, and he did. He played safe, and he got a remand out of Luis's hand, but of course that means he can just immediately recast the Thoughtseize thanks to that Blackcleave Cliffs. Now, if he had gone for Liliana here and that got remanded instead, well, he'd be behind.
Yeah, now he'll likely take the Lightning Bolt, so he can just safely play Liliana, and Luis cannot even kill her on the turn back with Fairy Conclave plus Bolt.
Yeah, it's interesting. One of the downsides to playing a deck like Jund is that sometimes you get the all creature draw, and really you'd prefer to have your control elements. But in this case, he's drawn effectively all control type cards, and that's exactly what he wants to see against Luis. So it's worked out really well for him.
Yeah, he can use a creature, maybe only one, but I think he's still so far ahead. Still, he has a Liliana that will start ticking up. He has a backup removal for either Fate Teacher or Fairy Conclave in Lightning Bolts. And even if Luis top deck, Jeskai Ascendancy has the Pulse, so he has to be feeling pretty safe here.
Yeah, Liliana of the Veil ticking upwards and just making it difficult for Luis is going to start crimping his mana, and meaning that he's going to have to play cards out of his turn every single time. Oh, he did top deck a Jeskai Ascendancy here. Now, he probably is thinking he got pretty lucky there, but the Maelstrom Pulse is going to ruin his day here.
Yeah, Shaun was prepared. And, Shaun, you just, take out, the last two cards with Liliana, one this turn and one the next turn, and he'll safely, start smashing with Raging Ravine.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, we have seen that Raging Ravine ends the game pretty quickly, too.
Yeah, it's a 4-turn clock. It's not the best clock, but since he was used to produce mana on the first turns, that's all right.
Yeah.
It's just free rolling on them. That's how good main lanes are.
Yeah, they're fantastic. And it looks like he is going to start pressuring Liliana, is Luis, with this Fairy Conclave now.
Yeah. Yeah, he has to. He doesn't have a lot of options, and the downside of doing this is he has tapped out to kill the Rage Ravine, but he could not just allow Liliana to reach 6 loyalty and go for the ultimate, so he needed to tap out everything. So he was in a pretty tight spot here.
Yeah, I mean, he could have played the Tarn, but then he loses the Path to Exile to the Liliana anyway, so he may as well just keep it. Now, Liliana was the draw here for Shaun McLaren, so he just had to discard that to his other Liliana. But as you described earlier, Willie, here we go. Raging Ravine starting to crash in.
Yeah,
Ataxian Probe.
Now what's the window for Luis? He can play Fate Cheater, and Shaun has to answer the Fate Teacher. He's probably killing him with Liliana, because if he does not, he cannot attack with the Raging Ravine anymore. He's empty-handed. He doesn't have any removal.
Now, it is interesting there that Luis, it looks like he considered just passing the turn, figuring if Liliana goes up a tick. He can discard Fate Stitcher, which isn't too bad for him to have it in the graveyard anyway. And then he can Path to Exile the Raging Ravine if Shaun activates that. But he decided just to play the Fate Stitcher and force the issue here, as Liliana actually pluses here up to 5 to knock that path out of the hand of Luis, and he looks like he's in bad position here.
Yeah, but like by plusing Liliana, Fate Stitcher stays in play. So he'll fog this Raging Ravine at least once, and even if he Liliana's out like the Fate Stitcher, if Fate Stitcher in the graveyard is still a threat, like Luis can just top deck Jessica Assanis, and with only one contrib and the Fate Stitcher, he can go off. So this Fate Stitcher will buy at least like a turn.
Okay. Yeah, no removal spell off the top for McLaren either. And
now he had sacrifice.
Yeah, Shaun has had enough of it. And I guess Luis can just tap down the bigger Raging Ravine here.
Yeah, which it doesn't make a lot of difference because like
it's Shaun, 2 turns either way.
Yes. Luis is pretty clever.
Very
he
tricky.
Just sacrificing the Fair Conclave to it.
Well, it does mean he's going to take a hit here.
Yeah, he doesn't know Shaun. Just another monster, so his monster activation. But Luis, I like Luis' plays a lot.
I do too. I don't think it's going to work out too well for him here, though. He's down to 2, and that Grim Lavamancer is lethal on its own. And that is going to do it. Game 1 goes to Shaun McLaren with his Jund deck. And, you mentioned it, Willie. You said that you didn't think this was a good matchup for Luis. And I heard Luis, when he was commentating with Reed Duke the previous round, he didn't really want to play against Jund either. It just seems like a tough one for this combo deck that needs a little bit of work to get going. And so, as we saw there, a ton of hand disruption from Shaun McLaren just set up the win. Why don't we take a look at the deck list here so we can get an idea, Willie, from you. What would you do for sideboarding? Taking a look at Luis's Ascendancy combo deck here, what comes in, what comes out in your mind?
Like, the Lightning Bolt doesn't do much. Like, of course, they can kill like a Dark Confidence or something, but he has like the Izzet Charm for it, and even a Path to Exile if he does want. And he'll definitely bringing in like all the gifts package, like Lash, the 3 gifts and giving, and the Butter Whites, and the Grizzle Brands. Like his back, even like Shaun has Scavenging Use or this kind of disruption, and likely some removal for both Grizzle Brand and a Lash in form of Maelstrom Pulse. I think it's better to try to bring the Reanimate package than like just rely only on a combo.
Okay, yeah, and we did see Luis bring that in the last match that he played, though it wasn't against Jund. But yeah, you like the idea of going over the top if you're Luis Scott-Vargas and bringing in your super powerful Reanimator package here?
Yeah, I think so. Even if he does never reanimate anything, he can just give it for value here. Like, when you have a deck like Jund trying to disrupt you, discard everything, even if you draw 2 with Gifts and Giving and throws like something like a Fate Stitcher on the graveyard or something like that, you get some value, which is like pretty good on this matchup.
Okay, let's take a look at the other side of the coin here for Shaun McLaren and get an idea for what it is that he wants to do. Now, we saw this look like a pretty good matchup in game 1. Is there a lot of stuff that he wants to change here?
He can change. He can improve a little bit. Like Olivia isn't that great. Of course, he kills like Fairy Conclave and everything, but it's not ideal. And he can always bring, for example, another Abrupt Decay. He can bring another Duress and the 3 Nihil Spell Bombs. I didn't know like Shaun has 3 Nihil Spell Bombs. Suddenly the gifts package is not that good anymore. But anyway, I think Shaun has all the tools to win this matchup. Like he probably doesn't want like all this call against commands, and maybe not Olivia, maybe not like Tazguru.
Okay, the
you just improve
stuff.
the choices. Bring
Sure.
like having
All right.
extra discards and Nihil Spell Bomb.
All right, well, the players are ready. Let's head down and see if Luis Scott-Vargas can win 2 in a row, or if it's going to be Shaun McLaren advancing through and eliminating Luis here in round 4. We've got one more round after this as well. This is not the last one of the night. We've got Willie, you're going to be playing next round, so
yeah,
Willie
you told
fans
me.
are going to want to stick around. So
Yeah, you told me you were saving the best for the last, so now I know why.
Exactly.
Like this time, Shaun has pretty much the perfect hand. He has like a discard.
No.
He has some sort of card advantage. He has the graveyard hate, for the gifts package. He has the Maestro Pulse in case of Jeskai Senas, and he has the pressure in Tormagov. Like he has everything. Like I think if he doesn't draw like any other card to the end of the game, he will be like in a pretty good shape.
Wow, with this no draw step.
Yeah, no draw step,
Now,
just drawing from confidence.
What about Luis's side of the table here? You know, it looks like he does have a Gifts Ungiven in his hand. Again, you mentioned it, but that Spellbomb's going to do some work on his graveyard there. But you know, a little bit slower of a start for him. But he's got a Visions of Beyond. He's got a Gitaxian Probe. Like he gets to see some cards and kind of work things forward. Oh, he drew his Unburial Rights.
That was miserable to draw this.
That's
There's no
terrible.
way to cast it. Yeah, this is pretty terrible. It's probably the worst card he could ever draw. Like he's a little landlight, so he'll really need, like he hit a land now, so it's a little bit better. But like I can see Luis going like for the Grange playing, like he gifts in for 4 cantrips, something like that, and just crafting some sort of plan like to go off in a single turn. The downside is like Shaun has all the tools, like he can kill exile the graveyard, he can kill a Jeskai Senas, and he have the pressure in the form of Tormagov or even a Dark Confidence. So Luis will not have a lot of time to assemble like all like this grinding game playing.
Yeah, and it looks like Shaun wants to get that pressure going early here. He's going to play a Dark Confidant, which is going to start hitting Luis's life total and, of course, drawing Shaun a bunch of extra cards. His draw step was nice to him. Again, it was Inquisition of Kozilek this time. Shaun also, he wants to start hitting more land drops, and he's going to get one out of Path to Exile, though Dark Confidant is not going to get a chance to hit here. So
yeah, that's probably the best thing that happened to Shaun, because now he can just replace his confidence, and he has the land that he so needed to either cast like 2 spells, like in discard and confidence, or he can just like play the Nihil spell bomb.
Hey,
sweet.
Look at this. He's going to play Inquisition and miss here.
Yeah.
Luis has all 4 and 5 drops, so
yeah,
Luis actually doesn't get anything.
Yeah, Luis
but yeah, he just drew another spell bomb. Yeah, another Nile spell bomb means that the other gifts isn't going to be able to go for the Unburial Rights stuff anyway. There's an Izzet Charm which can put Unburial Rights in the graveyard, at least for Luis.
Yeah, I think he used the Izzet Charm to kill the Dark Confidence, because like right now his plan is to like grind the Junt, like he killing everything, like, and rely on Gifts Ungiven to have like all the card advantage to win. Like let's face it, like killing the Dark Confidant now, and if he draws another removal for Tormagov, suddenly he's not in a bad spot. Like he has 2 Gifts Ungiven in hand. Yeah,
that he can use to just grind out, right?
Yeah, like he's bad. I wouldn't say in a good shape, because he has to draw removal, and the Gifts Ungiven will never like get any value from the graveyard. But he's not in the bad spot I thought he would be.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about gifts, is that he's, you know, ideally for him setting up kind of a broken combo where he gets a Grizzlebrand or an Elishnorn into play. But, you know, you can still just take 4 cards and your opponent will give you the 2 worst options. And that's a 2-for-1 still. And you can grind with the Gifts Ungivens and just kind of make it work. He's found his 4th mana here as well. Yeah,
at this point, the only thing like separate like Luis from this game playing is the Tormagov. If he draws like any removal not, because it's only like Path to Exile at this point, but like if he draws the Path, he's in a good shape. But Shaun just drew like Dark Confidant, and he'll add another threat to the table.
All right, so McLaren's going to play Bob number 2 here. Other one sitting in the graveyard.
The actual is number 3.
Yeah, he's got a 2-turn clock now, Willie. Just bang, bang, you're dead here if Luis can't come up with something quickly.
Luis came up with something. Fate Stitcher.
He's going to play Fate Stitcher here. Now, is that thing just going to get Maelstrom pulsed?
Yeah, he has to. Like
Just
he can
pulse hit you?
Yes. Like he's like he's in pretty good shape. Like that's pretty unlikely Luis can win from here. Like he can always win, like activating the Fairy Conclave and playing Jessica Ascendance and attack some probe and go off. But it's really unlikely.
Yeah, that's very difficult to do.
And
So
pulsing
Shaun's
this
going to
way,
crack a spell bomb here.
yeah, and pulsing right now is just a 2-turn clock. So I feel it's the right move here.
Yeah, and we saw that Shaun took away the Fate Stitcher and then made sure it wasn't going to come back by using his spell bomb as well to clear out the graveyard.
Yeah, like by exiling the Fate Stitcher right now, he avoids like any shenanigans on Luis' turn, like reanimating the Fate Stitcher.
You see what happened here? Luis actually did find that path to exile, so the Tarmogoyf is going to fall, and now Luis has bought himself a little bit more time here.
And Luis just drew like the Jessica Ascendance, so
Yeah.
killing the Tarmogoyf now to don't die. And if he draws like something really spicy to starting going off, like he'll be in a good shape. Like the Maelstrom Pulse is gone.
It's gone. Yeah, I like that play from Shaun McLaren, but now all of a sudden Luis has a little bit of breathing room here. Though I will say that it looks like, Shaun drew a Raging Ravine, so he can actually just kill him next turn.
Yeah, but Luis can try to go off. Like he can activate the Fairy Conclave and use the Fairy Conclave as a Fate Stitcher. He can pay to activate the Conclave, play the Jessica Ascendance, and if he has, for example, a probe, he can start chaining spells.
So he's going to need to find a cantrip here, huh?
Yes.
Oh, he found another Ascendancy.
Which is, I wouldn't say unlucky because he really needed the first one, but the second one was not that needed at all.
And that does it. Shaun McLaren defeats Luis Scott-Vargas, and Shaun is still alive here. He's going to move forward in the bracket and stay alive to try to take down this Modern Super League. I mean, we know Shaun, kind of made his name at the highest levels by playing Modern. Now he's a bit more of an all-arounder, I think, in most people's eyes. But yeah, I mean, not super shocked. And again, you said that matchup was pretty tough for Luis. The Jund deck just sort of systematically tearing apart the hand and then applying enough pressure to make it too difficult for Luis to recover.
Yeah, it was pretty miserable for Luis. Like, I think that his deck is pretty cool, but he was like really unlucky to, in 3 matches play against like 3 Jund decks and 2 of them with green for Abrupt Decay, Maelstrom Pulse, like 3 Thoughtseize and Disruption deck. It's the nightmare for him. I would love to see him playing against, for example, Zoo and other combo decks, but he didn't have the chance. So maybe next time.
Now, we got a chance to look at the bracket there for a minute, and it showed our next match. You said it, best for last. So that's Li Shitian playing against you, Willie Adel. Are you gonna be able to beat Lee? He's playing that Elves deck.
Hope so. Like I said before, I think game 1, I'm a little bit of a dog. Like I don't have like as many removal as a traditional Jund deck, and Lineage Souls is not super exciting. Mm-hmm. But afterward, I like the matchup a lot more. I have like a lot of sweepers, like the 3 Explosives, Donations. I even have a Dark Blast that is there.
You have a Dark Blast too?
Yes,
wow.
I'm such a hater. Like I run into Elves all the time, like in 8-man queues. And so I didn't want to lose to Elves. Like, to be honest, like the Explosives is there pretty much more for like Boggles, Affinity, the Lantern deck. Mm-hmm. And the Dark Blast is pretty much more for Infect and Affinity, but turns out they are just as good against Elves, so I'm not complaining. But if you see my removal, I only have like 6 removals, like 3 Decays, 2 Dismembered, 1 Go for the Throat, so it's not enough at all for the first game.
Yeah, Damnation looks pretty good there too, the Dark Blast as well. Well, like you said, you're a hater, Willie, and hopefully you're going to get a chance to hate out a bunch of elves. We'll take a quick break here on the Modern Super League, but when we come back, we're going to watch Li Shi Tian versus Willie Adel in our last match of the night. We'll see you in just a minute.
See ya.